Alright guys, let me make sure you guys can hear me. Alright, if you can't hear me, just let me know. So, back with another episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. Going on week 2 of the Fat Shredder Challenge. First time I've done it since I created the Panda Diet. But let's think about that. A lot of people say, what is ULYIS mean? That's my LLC. Unlocking Your Inner Strength. That's the name of this show. And that's really what it's about, right? You got to unlock that inner strength. You have the answer within you. You have the strength within you. Unlimited capacity to achieve what you want to achieve in your life. But you got to unlock it, right? You need the master key. So before I go into some notes, just insights from week 1 of what I was doing for the Fat Shredder. Got a funny story. Actually, one's funny. The other one's funny now that we know what happened to him. Or I should say, it's not that big a deal. So we have Saturday, Devin was going to a birthday party after soccer with the kids. And I was loading Ainsley up for her. And I put my phone above Ainsley where she sits. And I have a bad habit of doing that when I strap her in. And I've left it up there before, but we were in the parking lot. I'll get out and get it. Well, this time, Devin took off. She's taking off, mate. My phone's on top of the car. I tried yelling to her. She was already up the driveway, taking off. So the phone was lost. We found it Saturday night smashed in the road. But it's been kind of peaceful without having a phone. I got a new one coming tomorrow. But it really made me just conscious of the impact and how much the phone, not even scrolling and stuff, I don't do that really, but just how much it clouds your brain. Like it's like this weird extension of it. So it's been very beautiful. Got some good prayer time in on my drive Saturday when I was running errands without the phone. You know, just quiet. And it's been a nice break. And that makes me think about, okay, we have to, I'm going to start fasting from the phone. Maybe on the weekends just shut it off, right? Like the world doesn't come crashing down. So later, a couple hours later, Devin was back. We're down working on a chicken pen down near the creek, which we finished. The Bear and Dax are running around, our pups. Dax is the old guy, Bear's 4 months. And he's 4 months, maybe 5 months. But he's running around like a puppy does, and he jumps off the ledge, like a 3-foot ledge. He's done it before, into the creek, and he starts screaming. I didn't see it. I was working in a chicken pen. Really loud yells. I was like, cow, yell. So I jumped down there, get right into the mud. His foot is stuck in the mud. I talked to Dr. Joe, our good friend, and he says, he's an animal vet. Keep an eye on him. He called later that night. He said, all right. The way he sounded, he probably broke something. So I took him to an animal emergency room. He broke one of his growth plates in his leg. So the poor guy's got it. Trying to see where he's at. He's got it all wrapped up with a cast. He probably has to have surgery this week. So that was an eventful day. Right? You never know what's going to happen each day. Now, week 1, as far as my results, and the reason I wanted to do it again is when you get into a mode of getting into your top shape, everything else will improve. Right? Everything starts to improve. And also I wanted to test my theories. So week 1, what I did is a 72-hour fast, which I have not done in like 11 months. Right? I go through phases where I'll do a lot of longer fasting and periods where I just cruise with my 48 and OMAD. That's pretty much how I live. So last week I did 72. Then on 2 of the nights, I really went super high carb, try to keep my fat intake as little as possible. So basically vegetarian, Mexican, oatmeal, my fruit, and all that. Friday, we went to a friend's, another family's house, some friends of ours, did a little cooking, grilling, I should say. So I ate that, right? So trying not to become anal about this and obsessive in a bad way. You gotta go with the flow. So, for example, when we grilled out, I had 2 giant chicken breast sandwiches. I had some fruit. And I had my oatmeal when we got back home. Then I could have thrown down a lot more, right? So they said, okay, get what you need. How do you keep dialing it up a notch? What else did I do? I did my fat loss protocol, my fat shredding top secret cardio protocol Wednesday morning, so on the back part of my 72. And yeah, I get some good training sessions in, daily walk. Dropped 4 pounds from 235 to 231. Body fat was down like 1.3 and muscle maintained at 124 pounds. So I'll take it. This week, right now, I'm in the midst of a dry fast. I'm gonna hit a 48 dry. But I wanted to talk today, besides the insights, about 3 guys that 2 of them are my coaches in this field, right, of physique enhancement and bodybuilding, transforming your body. Right, I have many great mentors, but these 3 I wrote down and kind of give you insights of what I learned from them over the years for fat loss and changing the body. So it's something I've been studying now 27 years intently. Since I was a junior in high school, I started diving into books, training 3 hours a day. So that was part of my journey for sure. How you doing?
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I'm dropping some off for Devin. I
Yeah.
just put in the mailbox.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. So the first guy is Charles Poliquin. Charles passed a few years ago, and I got to learn him in person for 3 or 4 times. So that was great. So I was used to read about him in the magazines, right? And he really taught me the importance of hormones. And that's really what it is when you're trying to transform your body. It's not about counting calories, right? It's so simple. Poliquin would go really in depth. I learned a lot of cool stuff with biosig, stuff I should probably start making more content about that I no longer really do, like the caliper measurements and the hormones and all that. But people might find it interesting. There's still relevance to it. But it was all about the hormones. So if you think of the impact eating a certain way is going to have on your hormones versus another way, right? The training has an impact on the hormones. And the main thing, and he wasn't really, I think before he passed, he was starting to become open-minded to the idea of fasting, but it didn't fit with what he taught, right? So that's what another thing you gotta watch with people, is when they teach a certain way for so long, even if they've come across new information, sometimes they won't change their approach, because, well, now what do? I've got to go against 30 years of teaching it the other way. And that's where you just keep an open mind and reserve your right to change your mind at any moment. You have to remember that. But insulin, I remember him saying, have you ever eaten anything by accident? I'm like, that's a good point there. So insulin's the master hormone, one of the 3 master hormones. I call it the master hormone because it's the only one you can really control to a large degree and has an effect on every other hormone in the body. Right? The first time I learned from him, he chose me as the test subject up in front of the class, shirt off, pinching me for an hour. Guy basically roasted me for like an hour. I think it was part of his deal, like his performance, but yeah, at the time I was like, man, this is mortifying. Being in front of these people, shirt off, Poliquin just making fun of me. And I wasn't in bad shape either. That's before I started doing the panda stuff. I hadn't competed probably in a few years at that point. But I was still training and everything, but hormones. Now the next guy is Scott Abel. He's actually the first coach I ever hired to coach me personally. Taught me a lot about life, mind, body, spirit. When it came to changing the body, really being conscious of your self-awareness and challenging yourself every chance you get. Right, this is what I do as far as anchoring myself into the mission. I do push-ups throughout the day. I do 100 sit-ups or abs a day. I'm just doing this in the fascia, right? Because it anchors me into what I'm doing. Can I park a little further away and walk? Can I carry something extra to the car? And reframing hunger, right? Like that's a huge thing. Like hunger is not a bad thing. Actually essential. You don't want to be chronically hungry, but you want to feel some hunger. And what happens when you feel it? Do you cave? Or do you say, man, this is a good thing. This is what fat loss feels like. I remember talking about that with Scott way back in the day. So really the mental piece, the diet manipulation, my cycle diet when I was doing 20,000 calories on my cheat days, I realized that, man, you literally cannot get fat in a day. Yeah, that's good, Dennis. So, anyway, the cheat days, how to really take calories down, assessing my biofeedback. Scott told me a lot of that. What does the body tell you? What is the urination, digestion, sleep, performance, sweat rate? These things are all clues, right? And the training, right? Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So Dennis has had some good results. That's great, man. Body and mind is transformed. But the training Scott really taught me aligned with what I was already kind of doing, and it just kind of made it make more sense. But you want to have that big gas guzzler, right? You don't do stuff to burn calories. Like that's the dumbest reason to train, because it doesn't work like that, first of all, and that's taking the outside-in approach. Go for a walk because you want to be outside, and you want to become more insulin sensitive. The last guy was John Meadows. John was another coach of mine. He passed away too, unfortunately, a few years ago. Great guy. I learned a lot about the nutrition aspect from John. So the quality of the foods that we eat. Realizing, like a big thing John taught me, he said, Kyle, okay, if you want to put on some size, you have to get down to 10 to 12% body fat first. I'm like, what? I want to bulk up. No, you have to be insulin sensitive, and then it's much easier to put on muscle. In that body fat range, you're going to be more insulin sensitive. And you learned a lot of other cool things from John too, but the nutrition aspect, we really dialed that in. And the concept of, like, if you wanted to put on size, get more insulin sensitive. You don't have to go crazy with your food. Like, I already teach the feast, right? But a lot of people out there still work from the old paradigm where they think they have to eat 5,000 calories a day to put on size. Well, first of all, it's about your training. John, when I was still doing that type of program, he would only bump me up like 200 to 500 calories. It wasn't a lot. Because it's about your training, and you want to put on size. But throughout the years, taking what I learned from all those guys and other people, other courses, whatever, and then doing it, right? That's how you actually learn. You do it, you assess, you see. So today, going through the dry fast, it's just about self-awareness. It's about, okay, want something to eat? Well, you can't eat. Want something to drink? Well, you can't drink. Then what? All right. Stay focused. You feel fine, you feel great. But it's this type of chatter, right? It's always the inner dialogue. That's the mind mapping stuff that I teach, that I learned from Dax Moy. And it's very powerful. So just some insights on the fat loss journey. I'll keep you guys posted as to how it goes this week and what I'm doing next week. All right, guys. Oh, also, you'll probably see out there, I got the 7 biggest mistakes in fat loss masterclass next Tuesday night. So that will be great. That is going to be live. I teach you the 7 biggest mistakes I see in fat loss, I've seen over the past 2.5 decades. Stuff that you're probably being told to do that does not work long term. Yeah, Stranger Things, man. Got to play in the background. Love the synth wave. So that's coming up, and then the next Panda Challenge, a Fat Shredder edition, where I take you through my personal protocol and teach you every week. We do a live lesson every week on Zoom, and it's just awesome. That starts May 5th. Right now, we still got the early bird, so it's $100 off. Just hit me up if you want to reserve a spot. Well, we still have it. It's a life-changing program. Life-changing 6 weeks. Later.